Mr. Chairman. And General Fenton, I was surprised to learn during our discussion in my office a few weeks ago that some believe our special forces only perform a counterterrorism role. Nothing could be further from the truth as we spoke. For the public watching this hearing, our special forces were created out of a need to fight using unconventional tactics that we all call irregular warfare. While the counterterrorism fight is still ongoing, countering our adversaries like Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, non-state actors, is the bread and butter of irregular warfare concepts, which our special forces continually develop. If you would like to expand on that, what we're doing and the need for our special forces and making sure that we have the support to be able to compete on the highest level in the world.
Senator, thanks first for the conversation in the office that day. Really helpful for us to be able to discuss with you where we have, as a SOCOM entity, incredible capability across the full range of missions. The missions of integrated deterrence, great power competition, where you would see us across the world today even, with 6,000 special operations teammates in over 80 countries, developing relationships, building capability and capacity for those partners and allies. Frankly, also getting a great deal of information and understanding themselves about that environment, all in an effort to, A, prevent any great power conflict by building partners and allies. And certainly if indeed at some point conflict is on the horizon, prepare.
If I could ask you one more question on that, because we talked briefly, the cost effectiveness of using the National Guard and under special ops that we have a National Guard, how does that benefit you?
Senator, thank you for that as well. I would start with the National Guard across the Department of Defense with state partner programs and many other form factors, where it's a blessing. It is a very unique capability we have, and we're grateful. In special ops even more, with 19th and 20th Special Forces Group, in particular in the Army, and National Guard and Special Forces Reserves, throughout the other components. It's a key part of who we are as a total component special operations organization.
And also, we spoke multiple times about the need for an East Coast training venue for special forces instead of these units spending more time than half of their training budgets on transporting themselves to the West Coast to other training venues where they have to jump through hoops for approval on basic training needs to meet their readiness goals. Do you believe an East Coast training venue capable of hosting readiness events would be beneficial, cost-effective, and current to the future special operation force?
Senator, I know the department, I'll defer to Secretary Mayer if there's certainly additional comments, is doing a study to look at training events and efforts across the continental United States. I would absolutely align myself with, we need all types of training locations and events for multi-domain, interdisciplinary, and certainly to see different environments and terrain.
Let me just say this, for states like myself that don't have a military compound, but we are made up of a National Guard forces that are very strong and very diligent, and I think Secretary Mayer understands it very well. They are committed to adding value and also readiness and readiness operations and so many of your needs. So I hope that you would look towards that.
Yeah, you absolutely will, Senator.
General Hawk, Lock Shields is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization cybersecurity and critical infrastructure protection exercise that works with foreign militaries around the world. Last April, the West Virginia National Guard, under the leadership of the Defense Information Security Agency, hosted in Morgantown, West Virginia, more than 180 technical cyber experts and supporting representatives from the various federal and state agencies to compete on behalf of the United States, Romanian team, and the world's largest international cyber defense exercise, run virtually by the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn, Estonia. So I didn't know how much you are involved in that. You're aware of that, participating. We want you to come. We want you to take charge of this thing and run with it.
Senator, tracking this one very closely. I think Lock Shields is a perfect example of what the DoD cyber strategy has asked us to do, which is to focus on partners and allies. And how do we grow the capacity of those partners and allies with the threats that we face in cyberspace? We did have deep involvement in it. We had our commander of Joint Force Headquarters, Doden, was a part of that. And we see this as a perfect example of what we want to do to grow the capacity of our partners.
Thank you. Secretary Meyer, just to finish up, I'm so proud of you being involved in our National Guard in the Martinsburg area. And if there's anything that we can do that you can integrate our expertise that we have in the National Guard, it's not the National Guard of our fathers or our grandfathers, I can assure you. So if you'd want to comment on that, what it's meant to you to be involved.
Yeah, Senator, thanks very much. can you get me out a drill this weekend? Because that would be great.
I don't think so.
But very much I appreciate your acknowledging that, and thanks very much to the West Virginia Air National Guard, of which I'm a member, and continues to support me doing this job and that job.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Manchin. Senator